Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound and healthy. And I had no plans to do a follow-up podcast because, as I said, I cannot speak to something that I am still watching unravel in front of me. All I have are questions. Now, I ended my previous podcast with two questions, right? Number one, why 48 hours? Why did the court give them a time span of 48 hours? What was the court trying to do? Was it trying to give them some sort of a chance to, to again renege on the whole thing and what? And the other most important question, which is more of a statement that I ended, it was a question and a statement that I ended my podcast with, and that was, are they actually going to take him to the hospital? Right? Because I'll only believe it when I see it. So, as we know, the government immediately challenged, the order, the Supreme Court order, saying that it needs to be reviewed. The directive deviates from standard prison laws. Okay. Now, our self-appointed law minister, because obviously nobody voted for him, Azim Nazir, he claims that convicted prisoners can only be legally treated inside prison walls or within public hospitals, public state hospital, right? Now, one point. Imran Khan isn't yet convicted because there was never a fair trial, right? He was literally kidnapped and imprisoned without a trial. How can you call him convicted when there was never a trial? Number two, Nawaz Sharif was in fact a convicted prisoner, and so was his daughter, by the way. So why was he allowed to leave the country to get treatment? Is he God, na'uzubillah, or is he, was he above the law? Why is it that the law did not pertain to Nawaz Sharif? Why did the law not pertain to Zardari? Why did the law not pertain to any of these a-holes? Just explain that to me, okay? Number three, I think Nazir really needs to learn the law, because all laws ultimately succumb to statutory laws, okay? And statutory law dictates human rights. And that in turn extends to rights of prisoners, which in turn extends to having the right to be treated by their own doctor in a hospital of their own choosing, where especially there are trust issues that can incur, right? Number three, your own government is illegal. Your own government is illegal. So how can an illegal government that has imprisoned your legally elected government talk about the law when you yourself have actually violated the constitution of the country? You've violated the very law itself by illegally imprisoning the legally elected government in the first place. You have no legal standing. Number four, as per the law, this whole government should be in jail because, as I said, they are indeed, in fact, on the record, convicted felons. Not only have they violated the institution of Pakistan, but let us also add on the fact that they have violated international and domestic human rights. In other words, they have violated the international laws on human rights and the domestic national laws on human rights. Number five, going against court orders is against the law. Seriously, what is this person doing? What is this self-appointed law minister doing? He's showing to the whole world that he probably paid somebody to get his law degree for him. Now, as I said, I ended up my last podcast with two major questions, and that was why 48 hours, and will they actually take him to the hospital? So we got our answer to one of them, right? That they are not taking him to the hospital. And now I'm thinking that the second question of mine also somehow connects to this, because 48 hours, I think the court basically gave 48 hours because they were giving a chance to the government to create a kutkhana, to start a dog fight or a chicken fight where they can, sort of create a whole drama, a scene where they can somehow or the other renege. And now again, why do they want to renege? Why don't they want to take him to the hospital? That in fact just adds to our suspicions. It means, despite the fact that the court order states, which again I'll come to that too, the court order states that they are not allowed to disclose his medical results after he is medically treated, right? So again, and that he's supposed to be kept at the hospital till the 16th of September, which means that obviously this is just a temporary relief. And I don't even know why people, I just realized that people actually thought that this was supposed to be a release, when I thought it was pretty obvious that it was a temporary relief. But anyway, point being, so as I said, what exactly here is about the 48 hours that, disturbed me. And I'm thinking that it's because the court deliberately created this loophole. It created this opportunity for the government, for the illegal government, so that they could create a kanjarkhana or a kutkhana, right? Because if you look at even the order itself, the ban on talking about Imran Khan's health once examinations begin, and that, number one, seems very suspicious on its own, because it means that the government has something to hide, and that's why the Supreme Court immediately took steps to ensure that any hanky-panky, any proof or evidence of hanky-panky done in the prison walls against Imran Khan should not be brought out to the public's notice, right? But let me tell you one thing, there are no loopholes in the legal framework that can that can allow such a condition to be placed by any judge or court. Because if you look at the implied law, or again, if you go back to statutory law, upon which all other laws base themselves on, and which they cannot contradict, this clause itself is rendered void, because again, it pertains to human rights, and it's not a political thing. Talking about somebody's health is not political. It's very personal, it's very private, and it's again, in this case, when it comes to a public figure, then it becomes a human rights issue. So it comes under human rights laws, under which again there can be no such clause. No such clause holds water in the legal framework. Because if the reports or results, for example, get leaked, as Mohit Pirzada was talking about in his latest vlog, he was saying that, what will happen if it gets leaked by the staff in the hospital, or by any other unconcerned party, unconcerned in the sense that not one of these two concerned related parties, then what will the judge do? What will the law do? What will the court do? Will they, who will they blame? Who will they hold responsible? Well, my answer to this is simply because, first of all, this clause on its own was something that his lawyers should have challenged, because it holds no water, right? Just like how the government decided to file an emergency review petitioning the Supreme Court, arguing that the directive deviates from standard prison laws, which actually it doesn't, because it comes again under human rights. But it comes under trust issue, based on the fact that the person imprisoned is your actual elected prime minister, and the people who have imprisoned him are the criminals in question. So but what actually could have been petitioned was this, that the court cannot order the concerned parties to not reveal his medical condition, or to not talk about his medical condition, or not to reveal his medical reports once the examination is completed. You understand? I think his lawyer should have actually, put that forward. And another thing that his lawyer should have also put forward is the fact that, there is no embargo on the press, right? The government, the court, the Supreme Court, it did not place any embargo on the press with regards to said medical examination, medical results, the whole disclosure of Imran Khan's health situation. So that means that the court cannot hold the concerned parties responsible if any leak indeed does occur, because there is no embargo laid on the hospital, there's no embargo laid on the press, there's no embargo laid on the hospital staff, and I think that as I said, I think Imran Khan's lawyer should have already put it out there to make everything clear. So yeah, this is my 2 cents on the whole situation, to be honest. And I feel that right now, as I said, the most important thing is that the court in itself showed, um, again, a lack of integrity when instead of saying that he should be shifted immediately, they actually gave 48 hours. So that 48 hours was to the advantage of the illegal government, because they have now used this to cause a delayed transfer, you know. So because they have put this counter petition, so Imran Khan remains housed in a Diyala jail, and now everybody's going to wait for the judicial review. And again, how long will that judicial review take? So this proves our suspicions that there was no sincerity here from the court side. There was no sincerity here from the army or the government side, that this was again something to deflect, to to ease off, to take that little time to stall while pressure was building under the British asses, the British government's asses, and in turn our government's asses. So I think people should not let go. I think in England also the MPs, the Pakistani, Kashmiri, British MPs that were, pushing forward for this, and the street movement in England pushing forward for this. And I think even any movement that was planned by PTI, which I think is still, to me, it is still a farce, that despite everything they're saying, oh, we have the 27th, we have already planned for the 20th. Like, are you in your freaking senses? You were supposed to rush to expedite the movement right now to ensure that they don't half-ass anything, and it's not a half-baked time stalling tactic, and that he needs to go to the hospital. So if anything, you need to start the movement now to add to the pressure to stop this delaying tactic employed by the government, which again was basically given to them on a plate by the Supreme Court. And that is all I have to say. This is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz.